What's up, everybody? Really appreciate you all for tuning in. Now, we already know there's teams that try to figure things out, and there's team that goes with the flow. And so far, the Cowboys, we're the team that goes with the flow. We really not trying to figure things out. We hear the storylines of we like our guys. Yeah, so that's what's going on right now. If the Cowboys don't really make a move at the trade situation before the deadline, it could be just for the fact that they love their guys. They love their philosophy. And I do hear the thoughts of organically tanking. That is another word that everybody is pretty much looking at. And we can probably see it at face value when we start to think about it, right? When we start saying, okay, if they do not make a move, if we're saying as fans the issues with this team and they are not applying the issues or trying to correct the issues, 9 times out of 10, they already comfortable with what they got and they're comfortable with losing. Now, this team, we do a phenomenal job at marketing. We do a phenomenal job at saying, hey, we love the draft picks that we get because we never want to lose the draft pick. Remember, the draft capital is everything, right? Why is the draft capital is everything, Law? Well, here's the reason why. It's more marketable because it's an unknown commodity. It's a situation where you start valuing the unknown, meaning that it's so important to have that third round draft pick. It's so important to have that fifth round draft pick because you can look at it and you can ship it and you can actually sell it better than somebody that's already been out there, right? Due to the injuries or what have you. Now, I do know that we have 12 guys injured, what have you, that there's a prominent people that's on this particular team. And we can say, well, Law, we're not going to win the Super Bowl anyway. Even if you go out there and you go make those trades, right? But when you see the top of the top teams making deals and willing and dealing, we sit there like, hey, when we going to jump in, right? When you see teams pick up a Le'Veon Bell, not saying that we need them, but when you see teams go out there and they make trades before that time frame and pick up a D Honey Badger, right? When you look over across the Ravens land and they sitting there saying, okay, we're going to figure things out. Let's go get this defensive edge guy. We've been wanting him since day one, but let's make moves to make this thing happen. Or when you see even the Seattle Seahawks sitting there saying, okay, we got to make a push and an effort to see if we can shore up our offense with even more talent, more and more talent. We would never do that, right? Because we would sit back and say, hey, we love our guys. We don't need to bring people in for a cup of coffee. I just seen Dez Bryant get picked up. Not saying that he's the end-all, be-all, but they at least going to bring him in for a cup of coffee. And if he passes physical, what have you, he's another veteran wide receiver for the Ravens that can help them out. But we sit back and we value our guys so high that we don't evaluate them. There's two different things between value and evaluations, right? So that is what's going on with this organization. That is how this organization cook up things, Cowboy Nation. Now, is it the end of the world? No. But for the Cowboys season, yes, we're number one in our division. But we got to figure out ways to win this division. If not, then we can fold up and say, well, there's always next year. But there's a thing called a window of time. How long this window is, or how large is this window of time is, basically. Is it one player away? 2 players away? Were we a coach away? Were we COVID away? You know, it's so many things that can happen on a negative side or even the positive side that when we merge it together, we don't do the evaluation right. Just think about that. Everybody have awards. Everybody have their pitfalls. Everybody have their high expectations. And you got talent. These guys didn't fall out of the bed and say, okay, I want to play football. So how big is this window, or how huge is this window? How long is this window? Because if you go with the philosophy of saying, okay, we're going to tank it all the way out and then we're going to get a quarterback out of the draft. Newsflash. And I'm going to say this again, and I said it last night on my stream. The Seattle Seahawks didn't have to tank for a Russell Wilson. The Kansas City Chiefs didn't have to tank for a Pat Mahomes, right? The Ravens didn't have to tank for their Lamar Jackson. Let that sink in. So when you have this defeative mindset and you have that mindset saying, okay, I need to tank in order to win, newsflash. You will have players that will have that defeative mentality, and it trickles down, and you'll forever be trying to chase that ghost or chase that winning mentality, basically. That is the philosophy that the Cowboys should not install into their mindsets. We got to figure this thing out better. Everybody should play better. The coaching staff should look at the players and say, yes, this is difficult, but it's going to be better for you down the line. This is like necessary nutrition that you need. Ice cream is good. Yes, vanilla is good, but it only tastes good, but it can't sustain you. You got to eat this type of stuff, right? The difficult stuff in life. Everything in life that comes good, you got to fight for it. And every time we turn on the tape, we looking at players, regardless of the situation. It's nothing to do with this scheme or the schematics. It have to do everything with effort. That's the one thing that you cannot coach. That's the one thing that you will have to open up your hearts to put that out there on the field. But when people already have the notion and the mindset that it's too difficult and it's too hard, you won't make it because you're too worried about complaining about it, right? Now, this is going to be against a team that's ranked bottom half of most of their stuff, too. The Washington football team. They're not top ranked in everything. Now, they do have formidable sides as it relates to the front four. They're difficult to deal with, but we have to play a sound mind football. The stars on our team have to show up and not take a vacation day. They do. They have to show this thing up, and they will have to be the ones to be saying, okay, yes, we started off in a bad foot this season. It's 2-4. We number one in our division for right now. It could change tonight or what have you if some certain teams win, whatever it may be. But collectively speaking, we're still in the fight. Now, what can we do to make this team better? Oh, we got injuries. Yes, everybody got injuries. But guess what? We got 24 hours out of a day. And last I checked, the owner should have this mindset, hey, I'm a billionaire. I'm a wheeler and dealer type of person. I studied the tape. See, that's what he ain't doing. I studied the tape. I studied all of the trends. I studied what other teams are doing. Not saying that you got to copycat out of them, but you got to figure out how to compete and stay in competitions with them. When the Seattle reached out to AB, it's not because of the fact they need him. It's because they want to stay in competition with the opposing teams that they may face down the line. They know for sure they're not going to sit around and lie to kick it, and they're not going to sit back and say, I know that this guy will be able to do it, and I know that guy will be able to do it. Look, you can post so much into a player, but he can only hold so many things, especially on the level of his talent. Darian Thompson will always be the Darian Thompson. Xavier Woods, it's been 39 games. He played for over 39 games so far. That is what Xavier Woods is. That's what he exhibiting. That's what he exuding right now. He's not going to wake up tomorrow and be Ed Reed. So we should know just from natural tape and watching tape alone that those are his trends. Those are his tendencies. And Jalen Smith, as much as we love him, we want the best for him, but his leg going to always regress. Always. Now, I know people with strong faith and conviction say, no, Law. It's possible that he's still great. Yes, he is great. Yes, he is a dog. But he will always have that and the mental mindset that he got to favor his other leg. That's the reality of it. You think the opposing team is not going to consider that? You know, and people want to force things too much and say, nah, Law, things can happen. Yes, but Stephen Wonder, he can sing, but he still can't see. Regardless of how we look at it, those are the reality of it. No matter how you look at it, So people in a situation can use that. Now, can he prevail against a lot of things? Yes. But he's still blind. Cowboy Nation, I'm not talking about none of our player skill set. Dog it, they made it to the highest level possible in this sport. But criticism, I guess, is needed in situations so that you can properly evaluate. Everybody can't be your friend out there. That's the reality of it. Oh, my goodness. So either this team value winning or they value marketing. Either this team want to hold it all. I recall one draft they had over 12 picks. All 12 of them was gone the next year. But they wanted those picks so bad. Oh, my goodness. Because you can sell the unknown. It's beautiful. You can put a bow tie on it. You can say, hey, this can be the next such and such. But when the rubber hits the road, you realize and say, man, talent is talent. And we got too many talent or too much talent as it relates to the level of talent being on the back end. Meaning that these guys got to learn and pick up stuff and grow. You got to have your balance, Cowboy Nation. You got to. They got to understand that. The Jones Boys is the radio station we call them. Jerry Wayne and Sons. They got to understand that. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. It's still from the womb to the tomb. We going to support this team, but I got to call a spade, right? That's what we got to do, Cowboy Nation. We got to hold their feet to the fire because if not, they just run off with everything, right?